Hey guys, I'm Jack Zucker, and I want to talk about getting some Pat Metheny stylings, Pat Metheny's tone, and so forth. Uh, I am not the definitive Pat Metheny player, but I can give you some tips and things that I've learned over the years. So the first thing I want to tell you is that Metheny turns the tone control way down. You already know that. If I play this guitar with the tone control up, it's very bright. If I turn the tone control all the way off, it starts to sound like Pat Metheny. And I'm muting the strings. So if you hear the open strings, and it makes a big difference in sound. If I take a typical sort of Pat Metheny lick, play it with the tone control up and no muting, and now play it again with the strings muted, tone control down, it's a lot more like Metheny. Now if I add a digital delay, and I've got my delay set to about 330-ish milliseconds with the mix fairly low, feedback fairly low. And that's a typical Pat Metheny lick. And I'm going to show you that lick real quick, and I'll show you one other lick. So this lick is very, very simple, and it's very characteristic of what Metheny does. So he plays, in this case, let's take it over sort of A minor, that we would play the E on the B string, then we'd play with an upstroke the D on the G string, then we'd pull that off to a C on the G string, and then we'd hammer on without picking the D on the G string. So if I do it slowly, watch my left and right hand, mostly the right hand here. Now again, if what I do is, if I dig in more with the right hand, meaning that I'm muting harder, it sounds more like Metheny, and it sounds less like Metheny if I don't mute at all. So if I don't mute at all, but now if I mute it, and that muting, what it does is it gives you a more percussive sound, and you'll find as you listen to more Metheny that a lot of Metheny is about percussiveness and takes the guitar more into a rhythm instrument than a melodic instrument. So that's one lick. Let me let you hear what that sounds like over an A minor backing track. So you can hear very, very Metheny-esque. Now the second lick I want to show you is a Metheny arpeggio. And the way this lick is played is I'm going to take 4 notes. Actually, one is a repeated note, but... And I'm going to play downstroke on the C, upstroke on the G, downstroke on the C, and then a hammer on without picking on the other string. So now I use hybrid picking, so what I do is instead of the upstroke, I use the middle finger. Let me let you hear what that sounds like. Again, I'm going to move it around a little bit, maybe change some strings on it and use it diatonically as well as in a pattern. Now there's also another variation, which an earlier video of mine I've recorded 10, 15 years ago, incorrectly stated as the correct way to play the Pat Metheny lick. It's actually an interesting variation, and I like it. And it's the same principle as what we just did, except what you do is you play a downstroke on the first note, you play an upstroke there, you pull off to nowhere, and then you either pick or hammer that note. So that's kind of a variation that you can also play around with, and you can get it up to speed just as well as the other one. And even though it's not the way Metheny does those arpeggiated licks, it's an interesting thing. Let's do it a little bit slower. Now, when you do that pull off from nowhere, I'm getting a double percussive effect because I've got the right hand muted, but I also am muting the B string with my first finger. If you hear it open, so you get the double muting, and it's percussive and sounds very much like what Pat Metheny would do. So that's basically it for the Metheny sound and getting Metheny-esque vibe. There's a lot more we can go into, and I'll go into those in subsequent lessons. I want to say, if you like this video, please like it on YouTube. Please comment. Please subscribe to my channel. It's youtube.com/JackZucker. And please give me some feedback. What would you like to see next? Tell me if you like this lesson, if it was helpful, and feel free to reach out to me with any comments that you have. And I just want to say I love you guys. Thanks for having my back. And until next time, Jack Zucker signing out.